Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Garja vs Boneng series. The players literally spent 16 minutes deciding what matchup they were going to play. Of course, I've edited that out, but Garja, he wanted to play a mirror matchup since, of course, he is definitely one of the better players out there on a mechanical level, and he knows it. And by that, I basically just mean he's very skilled at the small things, like microing the best results out of his army and macroing his economy in the most optimal way to have the most resources. And the ability to assess the outcome of a fight, that's something he's good at, and, you know, just that kind of thing. Whereas Boneng, still quite good at that, obviously, you have to be at his level, but his skills really are more decision-making and planning and strategy and adapting to sort of weird situations. So Boneng would rather play anything except the mirror. He was obviously not a huge fan of that because mechanically when the civilizations are identical, the player who is better mechanically is just probably going to be stronger. So in the end, they were forced into a blind pick. That rule had to be enforced, where each player would whisper the caster the civilization they were going to play, and then of course they had to play that civilization, and it was a completely blind pick, as the name would suggest, since you really have no idea what your opponent is going to pick, so it's blind. And that resulted in possibly one of the most interesting games, certainly the longest, of the tournament so far. Enjoy the video.
Alright, and we're finally kicking this off. Game 3. German versus Japan. I know Garja's not comfortable with this matchup. He's probably never even played this, because when you play against Japan on Siberia, and you're Garja or myself, you play Japan right back, because Japan's pretty good on this map, and there's no reason to burn any other civ on, other than Japan on this map, really, if the other person's also willing. Boneng's getting started here. He's going to pick up his crates, drop the consulate for Portuguese, and also he's going to fan out his explorers and start looking for wood to get that first house up. And he spawned at the top here in blue, playing Japan. On the bottom side of the map, we have Garja spawning as the red German. Luckily, he's been able to run to a 50 wood treasure. With a coin crate start, every bit of treasure is going to count for him. Looks like he's also going to pick up this 45 coin and buy 100 wood. So he won't have to actually chop any wood here while still being able to get his hunting dogs, which is probably on the way now, honestly. And we'll be looking to see his wood shoot up. There's the buy of the wood, and then here comes hunting dogs. Look at that, perfect. That was flawless. Absolutely flawless. 100 wood for the house is all he needs, and he mined exactly 50 gold. The problem though is, meanwhile, Boneng's been able to go out here and scout. He's found 80 food and several other treasures, I'm sure. Just probably small coin, maybe a wood treasure. Yeah, he's only found one small coin treasure actually. Wow. So that and the duber. So really not that great of treasures. I'm kind of flipping around sporadically here, but what we're looking for is treasures. So there's a 50 wood here, 80 XP, another 50 wood, and an 85 wood actually. So I think this is very fortunate for Garja, just because he can't scout as much as the Japanese player can. He only has one explorer, so having the wood spawn near him is really favorable. It's kind of the luck of the draw for him. Whereas it's much more consistent for Japan to be able to find all the good treasures, because they have 2 scouts, and they also have the orchard wagon to scout the back of the base. And Boneng has now revealed all the treasures, so I'm sure he sees now that this treasure is going down. He also is immediately panning right to both of the 50 wood treasures still left on the map. This is really the best outcome Germany can hope for, is to be able to get 85 and 50 wood right out the gate. The hunting dogs is in, ports is in. This is just both players playing incredibly standard for their civs. Garja is going to aim for that 17 vil age up. Boneng will probably be 13. Well, I guess based on his food income right now, I would say he's probably going to be able to get a 14 or even a 15 vil drop on the wonder. He has a slightly lower target though. He's only aiming for 680 food because of the Portuguese consulate making it cheaper to age up. Just cleaning up this treasure. He's already gotten this one, and Garja's not going to be able to find that, obviously, but that's to be expected. The German explorer just much slower on the map, and he also knows about this 40 wood. Actually, I did not see this, so getting this one little treasure up here This kind of converted him into 140 wood worth of treasures. Garja dropping that 17 village up right on time. And Garja is going to find this actually, so Boneng won't be taking this for sure. The European crack shot's just too good in this situation. Also very smartly herding in his one hunt. This time actually the map is probably slightly in favor of Boneng just because he had 2 hunts spawn for him. And he's starting to shrine up. He's clearly just dropped his wonder, as I guess I moused over before. And what he's going to do now is going to pull all of his villas and put them on wood, leave only a couple behind on food just to keep villager production, and he's going to make as many shrines as possible. I wonder what Garj is going to do. Like the question on my mind is what he's going to opt for. It looks like he's going to go for placer mines and nothing more. That tells me we're not going to see any colonial play. We're not going to see 10 pikes. We're not going to see anything else of that sort. So what I expect to see actually is probably just like 3 settler wagon, 2 settler wagon FF or something like that. A very economic but still very strong fortress timing, and then just kind of trying to control the game with that. Garja planning that TP, just further cementing his FF intentions here. He's also queued up exactly the 19 vills. When he gets up, he needs to have 1 population space so he can send what he wants to send, which will be the, oh, he's sending crates, because we can see his pop just popped from 19 to 23, so he's sending like 700 wood or something. Or maybe even 700 gold for a straight FF. I'm really not sure. Oh, that's got to be 700 wood, actually. And I think he's going to use that to take a second TP as well. I also quite like doing this as well. By doing the 700 wood, he's able to only chop enough wood for placer mines, and he's going to be able to use that to get all his steel traps and other techs right out of the gate without having to chop all that extra wood. And there he goes, dropping right on that crate. The settler wagons do gather it quite a bit faster than the villagers, so that's always a good move to do. Boneng hitting up. He's got a lot of vills on food at this point, so the question is, what is he aiming to do now? Looks like he's dropping Rex right away. He is concerned. I think he's going to go Yumi right away because he's probably concerned about the classic play, which is to make pikes and some crossbow and try to play this out in Colonial. But Garja has no intention of doing that, so I think this is just kind of a missed opportunity by Boneng to kind of shrine up here a bit more heavily than he already is. The wood coming in, we see steel traps queued, we see second TP, and we see these 5 Wuhan out on the map going out to raid. I'm focused on Garja here just because there's so many things that the German are up to right now with the build. 600 wood coming in though now for Boneng, so now the focus can actually shift as there's gonna be some key decisions here as to how he uses that wood. And these Wuhan are just kind of poking around. They're looking for the explorers to kill them, just so the shrines stop being built, and that's exactly all he really wants to do. Looks like he's going to opt for a shrine siege here, actually. Wuhan do have a very high attack and also consequently a pretty high siege damage for being just like a classic European cav unit. Now this looks very reminiscent of the game earlier yesterday in the SmackDown that I was playing with Soldier, where he went Wuhan and just kind of was sieging down shrines, and I was just kind of building shrines, and eventually we both made it to Fortress and fought it out there. 3 settler wagon in now for Garja. I really do like switching it up and putting the wood first. It's allowed him to get extra TPs and get his market text without having to chop wood for them. And I think it's going to pay off for him big time. Ooh, these 2 Ash are going to get caught for sure. And he's going to clean those up real quick. I like that micro too, pulling away the 1 low HP one and trying to kite them away again. Exactly what you need to do. He basically just got 2 Ashy for free, which every Ashy counts as Boneng is going to be saving to age at some point here soon. But he's got to stabilize first, which means getting out enough Ashy to stop these shrines from being taken out by the Ulhan. Garj is now saving to age for sure. He's getting dangerously close to being ready to do that. I think he might have 700 coin on the way, which is why he's just kind of waiting it out. I like this Rax position too. He knows he's got the comfort to build his Rax there. There's the coin coming in. That was kind of an obvious send just because of his stack. And now he'll age up fast, and we're going to start seeing a lot of skirms and a lot of Ulhan. And I like that he hasn't lost any either. That's going to be amazing because now he'll be able to every Ulhan he keeps alive essentially allows him to siege harder. And you know, if he reaches this kind of critical mass, it becomes almost cost ineffective to start shrining all over the map. And I also like that he did it with Ulhan actually because they're so fast that you know, they can get around the map, and this is a big map. So 10 Ashy moving out. Boneng's still in literally zero position to age. He's not even intending to age. He's going to go Nagi and Ashy. Garja just hitting for it now. He's going to start making skirms. Hopefully these, like what he's hoping for here is that these Ashy are not able to kill a single Vil. Because if they are, then they won't. The Minutemen are going to pop here, I'm almost certain. Yeah, there's the Minutemen pop. And the Ulhan coming back to defend. They're going to get maybe one Vil here. Ooh, two. They're going to get 2 or 3 now, actually. Ooh, is that going to be... I mean, I don't know about the Cellar Wagon kill there. That's... Ooh, wow. A slight misstep from Boneng here. Not killing a single one of those Vils. And he's just going to lose all these Ashy just to kill one Vil and a little bit of idle time from Garja. I think that was a slight misclick on his part. He could have easily two-shot this Settler Wagon and maybe gotten even another Settler after that. Skirm coming out of this Rax now, and this is what I was talking about, where the shipments are going to start pouring in, and there's going to eventually, hopefully, be this critical mass where Shrines are going to be dying too fast for Boneng to replace them. We still haven't seen Veteran Ulhan yet. I'm hoping that we see that soon in the improvements. That'll be a big upgrade for him. There it is. I guess it just came in. Yeah, my UI just is not the best. And also saving this shrine for the time being. It's kind of a cute little move, but it's going to cost him 5 Ashy, and you know, Garja is slowly kind of creeping the lead here. I mean, this is now these will be 20 Ashies that have died almost for pretty much nothing. Nothing other than, I guess, a little bit of time saving. And you know, where do you go here as Garja? I mean, we'll see what he opts to do, but he surely can't know how little Boneng has. I mean, he might be able to know, but it's hard to feel it. Just because he's only seen a few piecewise Ashy, he doesn't know how big the mass is behind it. And just only 5 Nagi, 5 Ashy is going to be very hard. I mean, almost what Garja can do at this point is just slow siege this Teshuga Shrine Wonder, and that in itself is going to be game changing. Not sure he's gonna. Is he gonna? I think he might man up here. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It's kind of risky. 5 Ashy card coming as well, so you know Boneng is trying to survive this timing, and there's also going to be nice club timing, and there's also 5 Cav coming right now, or there is a Cav batch that will be popping in about 15 seconds. That I'm almost positive of. So this could be actually quite devastating. There it is. There's that Cav batch I was talking about, and Garja sees it, but it's also really late. Like I feel like Garja should have known better on that one, but he's totally gotten caught there. Pikes are popping out. Everything's popping out here, and this is gonna be a cleanup. I think this is gonna be a nice cleanup basically of everything that was there. 3 more clubs going into the mix, so 8 clubs total. Boneng saving all of his resources for clubs. You know, at this point he's just gotta kind of use his skirms almost as the way he cleans up the Cav. The good news for Garja is that there won't be any more. There will not be any more Cav coming out for a little bit. He's got some time to cut. And these Ulhan just kind of ripping apart these Nagi. But that was a really good trade for Boneng here. What's coming in here? I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that the cover moding that one club. That was just a really nice tactic that's going to allow him to get this. He got 2 more skirms for that. Like just because he cover moded that club, he got 2 skirms. Just it's the little things that these players are doing that are going to be adding up here. A cover mode, of course, reducing the range damage that that club takes. It would have died in 1 shot easily, but I don't know where Garja goes from here. And I think that was pretty devastating because now all the shrines are totally secure. Garja did pretty much the only thing that could have put him in a bad position there, which was he kind of let his skirms get up here, isolated in an easy to pinch spot. Then when the cab came around to try to save, Boneng very nicely popped out all the minutes and the clubs from the back. And now we've kind of reset, but that's two of the big four shipments, I like to call them, that Germany has, and they've been dealt with. So I mean that just leaves the 8 Wuhan left, and then he's kind of out of shipments. Garja just he's kind of recognized that he was in a tough spot. He still has a way bigger mass, as you can see. This matchup is by no means easy for Japan. I like this raid though. He's able to catch Settler Wagon, sending back for Wuhan to deal with it. But I mean the damage has been done, killing a Settler Wagon and a Vil. Anytime you're able to cause economic damage and slow down your opponent as Japan, you're in an excellent position. Is he going to be able to catch these? Yeah, he will. I was going to say that would have been very nice to survive that. Looks like Boneng's going to come out here and he's going to try to catch these villains on the TP, knowing that this Cav is already kind of being distracted here. But I mean, look at how fast these Cav are dying. I don't think he's going to make the timing window. Come on, these Wilhelm gotta move. It's so big. It's so important that those Wilhelm are moving right now. He's also got a TC here though, and minutes available, so he should be able to kite if he can, kind of kite and dance with his TC well, he'll be fine. He just has to make it there. I think he recognizes this too. Minutemen are going to pop out here and hope, maybe even another shipment. Oh no, never mind. There's 8 Wuhan that just come. Minutemen popping on the wrong side, but still going to get into the mix. Cav on Cav. The Skirms are very well doing a great job of focusing on the Ashi, and he's also keeping the Ashi in ranged attack on his own Cav. They're getting nice hand attack move by Boneng there to get a lot of the Ashi in hand attack, and Wuhan are just melting from that. But still, just a superior mass from Garja. But we have 5 more Nagi joining. Still enough Wuhan and minutes left though to kind of poke him away. And that was another really close fight. But I think both players were just the big thing there is both players trying to get the muskets either in or out of combat with the Cav in hand attack. Outpost going down. I think he's worried about raids at this point, and rightly so. He's actually somehow he's at a Cav disadvantage against Japan. With these 5 Nagi are going to do a cycle probably, like he did before, because that cycle kind of worked for him. He was able to check these 2 back mines. And Garja doing a very smart thing that a lot of players probably wouldn't even think to do, which is he's mining forward in this case, because he's vulnerable to these kind of like backdoor raids, but he's not too vulnerable to like forward engages of any sort. And 10 Nagi going in for a raid while this TP is being sieged is just really smart. I mean, this could be devastating, but Garja's already put up this tower knowing that kind of style was coming. So I think the biggest thing that could have happened would have been catching these 7 skirms. And all of his Ashi are also moving out. It looks like, Boneng doesn't really have that much army. Cause you'd think that we've hit the point where Japan starts to become, OP, so to speak, because we're at the 16-minute mark. But really underwhelming mass right now. And that's kind of the challenge with Japan is that, now after the nerf, their units they're not as overwhelming as they used to be. These Ashi used to just be so much more of a problem than they are today. And it's really going to come down to what does Garja decide to do. I think he doesn't realize that there's Ashi coming too. What is he going to do now that... It's freezing a lot. What is he going to do now that these Nagi are in his base? Making War Wagon as well. I actually like this quite a bit. Very rarely will I like War Wagon, but in the case of Nagi Ashi, I think it's probably appropriate to make them, just because both those, like the Nagi are so tanky, and Ashi do quite well against Wuhan, so you end up kind of losing Wuhan. You can't really use them as anti-cav anymore. And Boneng is aging up, going to age 3, which is why his mass was so small. And when we see that age up, I fully expect Garja to just kind of go all in with an attack of some sort. War Wagons also have pretty good siege damage for a goon unit, so they're one of their few advantages that they have. So for these shrine sieges, they're actually pretty useful. But Boneng actually, this is his last mine. Another thing I realized while watching all this combat is that Boneng is also possibly hitting the same problem this game as the last game, where he aged up when he might not have been able to. And really surprising actually that Garja is totally on the back foot here. I think he's just going to see shrines, or he's checking mines. Okay, I think he's realized what we've just realized now, and that's just how, there's no more mines left on the map. I mean, shrines are on gold, but that's a limited income. This raid could be huge though. We'll see what happens here. I mean, hopefully Garja sees it. Is he going to react? He hasn't reacted yet. Ooh, now he's going to react for sure now. He's got to be going, oh crap, and he's just getting raided to hell. He's got to pull in all these villas. It's gonna build up his entire economy, and Boning's going in for the sort of killing blow on that. But really, what's kind of interesting here is it may be worse for Boneng, because all of his villas are super concentrated right now at this one location. He's pulled back. He's recognized the problem, and he's pulled back. This is actually a really good position for the German player here, just because there's a lot of hand cav that wants to get in there that won't be able to do that. I like this Rax going down too. This prevents anything popping on his army. Ooh, these Nagi are all going to get killed here. I'm not sure about this engage at all, actually. War Wagon are in the front, but War Wagon are also hitting exactly what they want to hit. Watch how fast all these Nagi are going to die. And then if the War Wagon just pull after that, I think it's totally fine. Well, a lot of them are dying, though. I mean, War Wagon, I guess not surprising me, in my view on War Wagons. They're not really panning out as well as I would have hoped for Garja here, but Boneng looks like he's stabilized here a bit. Still not on gold though. Leave it to Boneng though to find a way. He'll find a way to be mining gold like back on this mine at some point, I'm sure. And the starvation may happen. I would have liked to see how much easier, if this game would have been any easier had Boneng not aged up. And we're starting to see the score gap again. The same thing where villas are getting idle. It's not quite as profound as the other games, but Boneng is playing very standard this game. So, and the third TC is going up. I mean, Garja is playing an incredibly solid game here. But that's 10 Nagi. Like, I mean, that was like 8 or 9 at least popping out of that one batch. But 3 more War Wagon might be enough. I think he can hold this. I mean, it's going to come down to if he can keep that skirm mass to large enough. Now, large skirm mass is hard for Japan to deal with. 5 Yumi coming in. He's dropping a barracks. I think he's switching to Yumi because he's realized he's out of gold. Building another Rax too. You can see Boning's really starved for resources. All of his resource counts are very low, whereas Garja's got 1k resources. He might even be saving for a mercenary shipment of some sort. I do like that he's playing it slow. Oh, I thought he was actually going for that for a second. Oh my gosh. Garja is going to be upset about that if that happens. By some miracle, it's not going to happen. That would have been one of the least lucky things I could say I've seen in a while. Interesting. He is just going straight to the right spot. This is the big thing to watch here. Meanwhile, I guess we don't need to actually watch the vills die. He's pulled the vills, and this raid is huge though. I mean, this is a lot of vills, at least 20 vills. Meanwhile, this one club is slowing down his entire army, but it's all right. They're charging their way on. they're going to go to this town center and try to put on the pressure, hoping that Garja pulls too much to handle the raid. I don't think he's going to. Garja's not typically the player to over-pull for a raid. One of the things he's done well this entire series, we saw him pull only a few Ulhan earlier. War Wagon going to clean up these, and then, will this TC go down? Not too sure. It might, honestly. I'm not sure that it matters if it stays up or goes down, because, Garja's not really in a position to make vills right now anyway. All of his vills kind of got zoned out of resources. And War Wagon and Ulhan coming in, and skirms / Jaegers, and that'll easily hold this attack. The switch to Yumi is gonna set up Garja to be able to go Ulhan again, which he's pretty happy about if he's able to do so. If he recognizes it, he'll be happy about it. Boneng migrating vills. Looking at the vill counts as well, by the way, it's very, very even in my opinion. It's favored towards Boneng, but his vills are not gathering the right resources that he wants to gather. And 9 Black Riders coming in for Garj as well. Just going for the 2 classic mark shipments, the Jaegers and the Black Riders. I like that choice too. That club soaking an entire volley there. Wow, Yumi are just such a good unit. Anytime your longbow unit has no load animation, you're pretty happy about it. Because they have stats like they're supposed to have a loading animation, but they don't have one. Loading animation, by the way, is like setup time to fire that first shot. And looking at the score, though, Boneng is taking the lead here, slowly but surely creeping the lead. Still no coin aside from he doesn't have shrines on coin. I think he's just gonna go mass Yumi. I wonder what he's gonna do. Oh, he's got 1k coin stockpiled. That's why. So I guess he just feels like that coin will be enough for him to make the Ashy he wants to have. And this is another awkward kind of phase for the German player though, where the hunts have run out, and now his swarm or his mass is going to be dwindling because of that. And actually, what I said earlier kind of does not apply here. It looks like overextended to kill this raid, and Boneng's going to try to do what he did last time, which is kind of come in and grab a TC for it. Garj is repairing this one right now. Actually, that's what I was checking. And I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I think this is going to be a really tough fight for the German player to win. He's got a lot of anti-cav, and Boneng has a lot of not cav. So, but the pop of minutes is still a possibility, and so is. Anyway, I mean, I guess the amount of resources in army that Garja has is substantial compared to what Boneng has. So, I mean, anything could still happen here. And Jaegers also are incredible against any other infantry. Just kind of checking it. Whoa. I'm glad we were able to catch this. The Dubers have gotten upset, and they are going all out on Boneng's villagers here. Catching the raid over here. This is another big thing. There's only 3 units, but the pain that they cause to Garja having to manage them is very high. So those dying is a big deal. And I do like that he's cleaning up the shrines here. He needs to get hunting. These mills, however, are just asking to get Ashy raided right now. I guess he just feels like he doesn't have the time to co-locate in his base. Going for the walls too. I mean, these games are just absolute insanity. Garj is continuing to mass up. He's got 120 military pop, and I feel like Boneng right now is slightly mismacroed, and we're seeing it happen now. He's got to make this transition to mills because both of his cherry orchards are out, and he's also off mines as well. So he's been off of key resources for so long now. It might actually just present a nice timing window for Garja to do some major damage here. He's blocking off the walls, and he's going to move in past this, I think, and go for the kill. I definitely think he's going to go for this. Yeah, he's going for the fight. And where are the Ashy? The Ashy are slightly out of position. Oh, he is backing off. Not sure what he's too afraid of, but he is backing off. Maybe he's afraid of some sort of timing or something popping out of that. But, I wonder, 1k coin coming in? I just wonder what the game plan is here for Garja. aside from killing more shrines. Look, Boneng going for the counterattack again. Classic Japan style here, going for the counterattack. Whenever you're under attack, you can go for a counterattack and try to do as much damage as possible. Looks like he decided instead just to send the Ashy out. This could be a big problem if only Garja was kind of cognizant of how little anti-cav is available for Boneng right now. And these asteroids are actually not going to find anything meaningful unless they end up landing over here, which I'm not convinced that they will, because there's nothing over here that would draw his attention besides TC. I mean, he's going to find this house, obviously, but this mine definitely hasn't been scouted by Garja, or he would have been on that. The Ashy Raid is starting to cycle, and this is buying Boneng all the time he needs. Settler counts, Boneng's so good about this, just he keeps his build count up, and he's been sending upgrades this game as well. I think he realizes it. I think he's realized that there's no anti-cav at all, and he is going for this Wuhan timing attack. There might just be too many Yumi, though, at this point. I think there's too many Yumi. As sad as that is, Yumi are just ridiculous. Oh, maybe not. The Warriors are in good position, the Wuhan are just going all over these, and the Skirms are back here to deal with the Ashy. This is just a great engage, and a great foresight or great realization, I guess, by Garja to understand that when those Ashy were gone, there's trouble. 10 clubs. He just spent all of his export on clubs, and that's going to repel that attack. And then 20 Ashy pop out. That is a turning point fight right there. Even if all these Ashy die, that is a turning point moment where but Villas are getting caught too, not able to gather. Might be the same story. I can't see what's going to happen in this game. He needs to get these war wagons out, though. Oh no. Losing all these war wagons to clubs, it's just so many resources disappearing. They're getting out. I think they're out now. The Wuhan was what was slowing them. Just so much action all over the map here. Garja getting his skirms in motion. This raid has discovered that the mills exist there now, so it's very likely we'll see much more of that happening. Man, losing these war wagons for free is expensive and painful. Now it's kind of opened up the window. If Boneng ever wants to make cav again, he can do so. Ooh, this is a huge catch, actually. Wow, whoa, this could be a huge turning point. All those Yumi are gonna die, and that's all the Yumi that he has. And these skirms are in excellent position as well with the Jaegers in the mix. This is a huge fight for him. And it looks like the Asher coming back, realizing how important this fight is. These Wuhan did not need to stay in there. They could have ran away. The damage, they had already done all the damage they needed to do, but Garja having a great fight there and cleaning it up. And this game is still just back and forth as it could possibly be. 1k wood coming in for Garja. TC going down for Boneng on a new mine. That's actually going to be a big deal. Shrines can now shift to wood or some other faster gathering resource if he wants. And notice how Garja's kept these Jaegers alive this entire time. Just such high value. Skirm mass is regrowing. The question is, will Boneng make this cav transition? Will he realize how many? And he will. Yeah, look at this. Just both these players playing at such high level. The Nagi are starting to queue up, and I think that I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Oh, only one? He canceled them. He canceled the Nagi. Oh no, he got out 10. Dang. I was hoping I was like, did he cancel them or did he get out 10? Getting out 10 is obviously exactly the opposite of canceling them, though, and that's what he needed to do. So Garja's about to be upset as he sees the 10 Nagi come, but he's got plenty of cav, and this is where I was talking about where Ulhan act as your anti-cav, because they're just high attack units. So they just kind of like you have to prioritize them with all your stuff. And that was a huge exchange. All 10 of those died, and if Garja goes for the kite back here, that was just a nice win for him. Great trade. And the scores have evened up now. I mean, you can see that this matchup is very balanced, as both players have opportunities to kind of go back and forth in it. This mine's up, though, and Garja doesn't know about this mine. So that would put this as his final 200 or 300 gold. And even if these villas die, I don't think he cares too much. He's probably going to be... I think he's realized he's screwed right now. He's plantationing. Not a position you want to be in. The plantations are really just honestly, if they were to patch them, they should probably make them cost like 400 wood, because all the Asian civs have access to 400 wood plantations that can oscillate through the rice paddy, which is probably how all the mills should have been in the first place. They're just so expensive. But having to go to plantations is going to basically be the death of Garja potentially. We'll see the score differential is going to start showing that too. He does have 3 TPs. He does have the trade route upgraded. Or 2 TPs? 2 TPs. He was going to build the 3rd. And the thing is, though, he just doesn't have the villager count. I mean, he's slightly behind even on villager population. And the late game obviously goes in the favor of Japan here. I have this feeling Boneng will somehow find a way to go industrial, and that may be when this game will be in trouble for Garja. Nice raids too. He managed to get value there. Making 5 war wagon here. I'm surprised that he went for that. I guess he just feels like there's gonna be a lot of cav coming. These small ashy raids too. Garja's doing another thing a lot of players don't think to do, which is in the late game drop an arsenal. He'll be able to get counter infantry rifling there, which will help his damage versus the ashy. Meanwhile, Boneng just kind of continuing that mill transition, trying to get his economy going. You'll see he's maxed out on units. In the queue, he's making 12 more clubs. This is that export advantage as well. It's kind of turning into more units. I have a feeling we're going to see 10 Nagi, or only 3 made it out this batch. I guess he saw the war wagons, changed his mind. He didn't. I'm not sure what his resources are being spent on right now. I guess just mills. And having these mills and plantations out here is already kind of causing him that pain that I was talking about earlier, where he could have, if he probably would have been better off to relocate them. These 3 Nagi are going to be able to go in there and make him sad again. And notice what Boneng's doing here, he's timing this attack with the raid, hoping that Garja won't notice the raid because he's so focused on this key battle. And so far it is actually working out to be that way. So right now, even if the trade's totally even, Boneng's coming out way ahead. Garja noticing, pulling in a few vills. He really doesn't want to build all of his vills, but I think he realizes he's going to have to. The Yumi count's just getting pretty substantial here, and we see the Japan player putting the pressure on to the point where Garja can no longer hold it. I think Garja's getting ready to type GG here, if any. Still trying his hardest though. He's playing his heart out for this game, clearly. He still hasn't even lost too many vills, but the reinforcing Boneng's going industrial off of this, which is, he knows he's got the lead, so he's just going to age up with it, and that's why Garja's had a chance at stabilizing. But those vills finally getting back to work, and I suspect that we'll see a good game here. That would put the series at 2-1 in the favor of Garja. Boneng able to pick up that game after losing 2 earlier games. They were both very long games, just like this one. And now we can move into game number 4, which will let us see one of the first new maps in the pool that we haven't seen yet, which will be Pampas Sierras.